Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla News, episode 171. Yes, I am at the Fully Charged live show, as you can see, but that does not mean that you don't get your weekly news show, of course, because we had some great news this week. We had the shareholder meeting from Tesla as well, but we also got some great news about the Cybertruck. Volkswagen is talking about profits on EVs, and Jim Farley is once again out spitting some good facts about EVs. So let's check it all out and let's dive right in.
Let's put our living stereo stylus in this groove.
So, Tesla held their shareholder meeting this week, and there was some good vibes at the event. I have made some videos about the event already, but here are some of the highlights from the event. Firstly, J.B. Straubel, one of the founders of Tesla, who has also started the Redwood Materials recycling of batteries, is back on the board of Tesla, so that's very nice. And Elon also talked about the Megapack factories, and both of them will of course be producing 40 gigawatt hours of Megapacks per year, but Elon would not be surprised if Megapacks hits 500 gigawatt hours a year when Tesla is done building factories and ramping up. Now that's a lot of factories and a lot of batteries. And Elon showed a little picture and said Tesla has 2 new products coming that will be head and shoulders above anything else out there, both in terms of design of the product itself and the manufacturing techniques. I think it is of course the compact smaller EV, but also the Tesla van Tesla hinted at Investor Day. So very exciting to hear more about all of that. And the Tesla robot is growing up quickly, and we don't know how many they have made, but there were quite a few. And what it can do already is quite amazing. But if you want to learn more, don't forget to check out my video about it from this week. And the demand for something like this, a humanoid robot, would be pretty much endless. So I don't think people really understand that this product is something that will make huge value for Tesla long term. Really long term. But as Elon said at the event, it will be the biggest value creator for Tesla long term. And it just looks cool, right? And Elon said Tesla should do some advertising, test it out and see how it goes.
You know what? I believe in taking suggestions, so we'll try a little advertising and see how it goes. Okay. Okay. All right. I wasn't expecting that level of enthusiasm. But okay. It sounds like our shareholders, if I read between the lines, subtle as it is, are saying we should probably do some advertising. Okay, very well.
And he also said the Roadster might be coming next year. As Elon said, Tesla will finalize the design this year and hopefully bring it to production next year. That would be nice. Not because it will bring in anything meaningful profits for Tesla, but I just want to see this car, and especially with the SpaceX package. As Elon said, it will be sick.
It will be a modest contributor to profitability, but it will be sick.
But if you haven't seen the shareholder meeting yet, I will leave a link down below to check it out, as well as my 2 videos about it. And I will bet you guys watching are spending a fair amount of time online and on your connected devices. I know I am. My job is being on a computer all day, and when I'm not working I might be streaming some entertainment on some of my smart devices. And all my personal information is on my smartphone. That is why using a VPN server is a very good idea, and why I have partnered up with today's sponsor NordVPN, because VPN stands for Virtual Private Network, and private being the key word there. A VPN will encrypt internet traffic and hide your IP address and virtual location, so it will boost your privacy and security online, which is much needed these days. And a VPN protection makes hacking close to impossible. So for me, this is one of the most important things about using a VPN provider, to get that peace of mind that your data and online activities are secure. Because NordVPN does much more than just change your IP address. It blocks malware, stop intrusive tracking, block intrusive ads on the spot, and it has always on cybersecurity. So even if you're not connected to a VPN server, it still protects your online browsing. But of course, I also use the ability to change my IP address all the time, as I can get access to a lot more content on streaming services like Netflix, because there is different content depending on your location. So if I want access to something on Netflix that is only available in the US, I just turn on NordVPN and change my location to the US, and voila, my digital location is now in the US, and the user interface couldn't be any simpler. You just click the country you want your IP address to be in, and that's it. Couldn't be any simpler. If you want to check it out, and you should if you care about your online privacy and security, NordVPN have a great deal for you. By clicking my link down below, you will get 4 bonus months for free on a 2-year plan. And it's risk-free with NordVPN's 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. So click the link down below to get started today. And a big thanks to NordVPN for sponsoring this video. So we already know that Tesla is doing very well in Europe, and the Model Y is the best-selling car of any kind in Europe. But Tesla is actually doing very well. In some countries, actually quite a few countries, they have already sold more Teslas year to date than they did in the entire year of 2022. So in only 4 months, Tesla has sold more than what they did in the entire year of 2022. Like in my country of Denmark, has already sold twice as many Teslas year to date in the first 4 months than what they sold in the entire last year. And there are already 7 countries here in Europe that are over their units from 2022. It's going to be quite a good record in Europe this year, thanks to the Berlin factory. So Tesla continues to be the best-selling EV brand and the best-selling EV model, and is also the best-selling car in Europe. So even though we like to compare BYD and Tesla all the time because they are the 2 of the biggest EV makers on the planet, BYD is only big in China and nowhere else yet, of course. But here in Europe, they are just getting started and are not even what I would call competition to Tesla just yet, as Tesla has sold about 67 times more EVs than BYD in Europe year to date. The Tesla Model Y sold more than 70,000 units in Europe so far this year, and the BYD Han only sold 112. Like I said in my video about it, when it came to Europe, this car was priced way too high, and I think we can see that being reflected in the sales of this car. The Auto 3 is much better priced and have sold about 1,000 units so far this year. So yes, in China the race is on and BYD is leading, but here in Europe and the US, they are not really competition just yet. But let's see how fast they can get to volume EV production here in Europe. I think the Dolphin will help very much with that, but let's see how it all goes. So Elon Musk said at the shareholder meeting that they will not make an RV just yet, but you will be able to turn your Cybertruck into a camper. As he said at the meeting, we don't have any plans to build an RV quite yet, although I can certainly see how Cybertruck could be converted into an RV. We are adding a lot of sort of attachment point to the Cybertruck, so others can build things. A startup or other companies can build things that are attachment that enhances Cybertruck and turn it into a camper, essentially. Because I think it would be really cool to have these third-party things available for the Cybertruck. Just as I have shown before with the Cyberlander, but let's check out this little video just to get an idea of all the cool new stuff that can be made for the Cybertruck. Yeah, this is going to be a huge market for third-party accessories for the Cybertruck. I can't wait to see it all coming out in the real world, and luckily we only have to wait a few months more to see them rolling off the assembly line. But the usability of the Cybertruck is just getting more and more ridiculous. I'm even considering one, as this is simply going to be the ultimate driving machine, but not for an absurd amount of money. Hopefully, we still don't know the price, but this could very well be the car on the planet that will be the most value for your money you can get. And Volkswagen is out saying they will have margin parity on some of their EVs by 2025. Volkswagen Group's CFO Arno Antlitz said rising battery cost means it will be 2024 before the automaker achieves same profit margins on electric vehicles as it does on combustion models. So about 6% in margins or something like that, so nowhere near Tesla's 20+% margins. As the CFO said, a lot of margins parity depend on the raw materials. When Volkswagen launched its new electric strategy in July 2021, it said it expected to reach margin parity between combustion engine and electric vehicles within the next 2 to 3 years. Now the CFO saying material cost means the profitability goal depends on Volkswagen making its own batteries. We have not given up on the topic of margin parity, he said. In 2025 and beyond, we plan for margin parity, particularly with models that use Volkswagen's own batteries. Volkswagen is planning for significantly positive margins on new EV models, the ID.2, that will go into production in Spain in 2025 and have a starting price of about 25,000 euros, the CFO said, and also continued Eastern Europe was still likely to be the location of its next battery factory, and that it was in talks with specific locations. So let's see if they can make good on all of this, as they told us they would have battery factories with capacity of 40 gigawatt hours here in 2023. Well, that is clearly not happening. So I have my doubt that Volkswagen will be able to make a whole new battery factory in Europe and have it up and running at full capacity in 1 to 2 years. That would have the capacity to support the production of the ID.2 here in Europe, as it seems that Volkswagen is heavily relying on their own batteries to make this work and get the cost of the EVs down. Also because they are not profitable right now on their $40,000 to $60,000 EVs today, but just because they make their own batteries, they expect to be able to make a $25,000 EV with a tiny bit of profits in only 2 years' time. I have to see that to believe it, as the only thing we have heard from Volkswagen on how they expect to get this price so much down is by in-house battery and economy of scale, because they are not building new, more efficient factories as Herbert Diess wanted to do with the Trinity platform that has been all delayed. The CFO said that the automaker plans to convert existing operations plant by plant to build EVs. We will not add additional capacity. So we will see how this goes, but the Zwickau factory took them more than 2 years to retool and cost them $1.3 billion to do so. So it will not be cheap or fast what they're doing right now, and they will still end up with the same inefficient factories as before. The plan for the new factory with the Trinity platform was to try to get to the production speed and efficiency of Tesla, but I guess that is no longer a goal for Volkswagen. And let's squeeze in the last short news topics into this new show. Yes, it's time for the Tesla Shorts. Tesla shared this on Twitter this week. Total miles driven by Tesla fleet has exceeded 100 billion miles globally, equal to 532 round trips to the sun. And even though this is not miles driven on autopilot, Tesla is still collecting data on human drivers in shadow mode and so on. So this is really a good showcase of Tesla's advantage in data collecting over pretty much anyone else. And Tesla also released a new video about the Megapack keeping the light on in Puerto Rico, making sure they still have power when a new hurricane hits and bringing down the grid. And Elon also retweeted it and said Tesla's Powerwall does the same for individual homes. But Tesla is just a car company. And if you think the Chinese are only going after the affordable EV market, Think again. MG just revealed the MG Cybertruck, an all-electric roadster that is in direct competition with something like the BMW Z4. It should get a range about 300 miles, and if you get the fast version, you will get 0 to 60 in just 3.5 seconds, so that is very good. But that is before you have heard the price. In the UK, this sports car should go for something like £50,000 plus taxes, so as a source from MG said, there is no point of doing an entry version with these prices. So it's electric doors, electric roof, and all the screens and all the kits is standard. It's just a question whether the owners want to go really fast or crazy fast. Nice. And Elon meets up with another one of the world's leaders. This time it's the president of France. And the president wrote on Twitter, "With Elon Musk, we talked about the attractiveness of France and the significant progress in electric vehicles and energy storage. We also talked about digital regulations. We have so much to do together." Yes, every country leader wants to talk to Elon Musk because, as Elon explained at the shareholder meeting, it's because all of these jobs Tesla is creating at the big gigafactories also create jobs for carpenters, school teachers, restaurants, and much, much more. That is why all the world's leaders want Tesla to come to their country and build a great big factory. And the ship from China has arrived at Canada with Made in China Model Ys and 3. This should bring some new high-margin vehicles to the Canadian market. Nice. And the new Ford Tourneo Courier will arrive later this year, taking on much more significant role for Ford following the death of the Ford Fiesta and the subsequent exit of the Ford Focus in 2025, effectively becoming the entry-level passenger car. Unfortunately, it does look very entry level, with only 230 miles of range and can only charge about 54 miles in 10 minutes, as it will only have 100 kilowatts of charging. For comparison, Tesla does 75 miles in only 5 minutes and have a peak charge of 250 kilowatts. And just look at the interior, this looks very cheap. Look at that little old school screen there. This does not look like an EV that would age very well. Officially pricing is yet to be confirmed, but another EV from Ford for the European market, so that's nice. And Audi is making an electric rickshaw, so that's pretty cool. Something Tesla will never do as it's a very unsafe vehicle, but nonetheless these are very common taxi vehicles in India and Southeast Asia, so very nice to get them to go electric as well. But this is not an official vehicle you can buy yet, but a prototype built by trainees at Audi. But the cool thing is, these batteries in the rickshaw are used Audi e-tron batteries. So when the battery is no longer good enough for these big vehicles, they can be used in these smaller vehicles before they get recycled. A very cool idea, and I hope this is not just a PR stunt, but we actually get this to come to fruition, as we have a lot of rickshaws around Asia polluting the air in the cities, because surprisingly enough, the 2- and 3-wheelers are actually the one that have the highest impact on oil usage. So Audi, let's get this to become a reality. And the Tesla Model 3 is the mid-sized car least prone to break down, according to Germany's largest public motorized organization. Its study showed that the EVs are generally more reliable than cars with internal combustion engines. Yes, and I would like to add, more fun to drive, less maintenance, less air pollution, and just better in pretty much every way. I mean, who wants a nice car, right? And Joe Techmy got some pictures of what looks like the giga castings of the Cybertruck. So the 9,000-ton giga casting machine should already be up and running and do some test casting at the factory. Production seems to be closing in. And Tesla is destroying and updating a production line at the Fremont factory, perhaps to roll out the mass production of one of its revised vehicle design, filing shows. The demolition of the production line and installation of a new one might suggest that Tesla is moving forward with the imminent mass production of the Project Highland Model 3. But still nothing official, so just rumors because of the filing that Tesla has done, but it seems like something is going on at Fremont. And speaking of rumors, well, according to Bloomberg, Tesla is nearing the final stage before starting trial production of the revamped Model 3 sedan in Shanghai. A Bloomberg reporter said, citing people familiar with the matter, as always. So maybe we will also soon get some great news coming out of China as well. And Tesla's full self-driving may be getting closer to being available in China, as a local official said that Shanghai will further deepen its cooperation with Tesla to promote the EV maker's business, including self-driving and robotics in the city. So that's very exciting news. And Walter Isaacson, who wrote the bestseller biography of Steve Jobs, is stunned with the book about Elon, and you can now pre-order it if you like. And the $2.3 million Rimac Nevera EV officially broke the records of quickest 0 to 60 time in the production car, with a time of 1.74 seconds on a non-prepped asphalt using standard road legal Michelin Cup 2R tires, and they got it up over 400 kilometers an hour. And it also broke 22 other records. But still, this car cost $2.3 million and has only made 150 of them. Imagine what Tesla could do if they would build a car that cost $2.3 million. I bet the Tesla Roadster will still give this car a run for its money, and it is less than 1/10 of this car in price. So a nice car, but we still have to keep the price tag in mind. And when Elon was asked about it on Twitter, will the Tesla Roadster be able to beat the record set by the EV Rimac Nevera of a 0 to 60 time of 1.74 seconds, Elon just laughed. Yeah, don't forget the SpaceX package, people. No one else got that one. And the story of Tesla and India continues, as Tesla is serious about its plans to establish a manufacturing base in India, the country's deputy minister for technology told Reuters in an interview, a day after meeting the senior executive of Tesla. So Tesla's factory in India seems to be back on the table. It would make a lot of sense, especially another Megapack factory as well, as many places in India electricity comes from on-site gas generators, as the grid is often unreliable. So to help build out solar and energy storage in India, I think would be a very big business for Tesla. If you want to dive deeper into this topic, I can highly recommend Brighter with Herbert's interview with Brian from My Tesla Weekend, as Brian of course has done all the numbers on this factory. Link to the interview down below. And Starlink is also now available in Brazil, and I just want to share this little video of Starlink arriving in a little canoe to a place that seems to be in the middle of the jungle. So cool that Starlink can help get the internet and education to every single corner of the world. And Brightstone has unveiled its first EV-specific tires with longer lifespan, less rolling resistant and reduced road noise. And when we are talking about Tesla advertising, well, it is a Tesla they show off in their ad, so again, free advertising for Tesla. And Brightstone says that the tires incorporate 50% renewable and recycled material, so that's very nice. And Jim Farley is once again showing that Ford knows what is needed to be done, as not only are they here at the Fully Charged live show, as not many legacy automakers are, so kudos to Ford for that, but he also said, we don't want to leave China like others have, because the battery technology, the user digital experience is among the best in the world. The best new brands are offering integrated digital, retail, lifestyle and experience that are software defined. It's interesting to see how customers are no longer just attracted to traditional luxury brand with EVs or even hardware design anymore. And in the same week that I had to use Tesla service, Tesla tweeted about the feature that your loaner vehicle will show up in your Tesla app and your driver profile in the car. Just an absolutely awesome experience, and shows off Tesla's software power most others can only dream about. Link to my video about it down below. The Dutch press office of SEAT announced that the Spanish subsidiary of the Volkswagen Group will discontinue the brand by 2030. That's kinda sad, but hopefully it will just be the SEAT brand and not the whole group that will disappear by 2030. Reuters wrote an article about Volkswagen partnering up with Huawei to help Volkswagen with software, but Volkswagen CFO later said they are not currently in talk with the Chinese technology company Huawei. But I still think Volkswagen need to get some help with their software, and from a Chinese company might be a very good idea to appeal to the Chinese people, as Jan from Tesla Fix talked about in his interview with me this week. But I would be a little worried if they choose Huawei with their history. But we will see how it all plays out. And here is a little video from an Electrify America charger, but even though this is not a Tesla charger, behind the fence here we can see who is actually running this place. Tesla, of course. Yes, Tesla is and will become the absolute dominating force in the charging industry. The others can't even do it without help from Tesla. And we see more and more legacy automakers like BMW that just was out saying that the Euro 7 is too costly and too rushed and will not work. Just like Stellantis has been out saying as well. Well, the Euro 7 is something the transport and environment has been fighting for about 30 years. So to call this rushed is simply just stupid. Legacy automakers thought they were in control of the pace towards EV and thought they had the power here in Europe to get it its way. So they have been sitting on their hands for too long and didn't want to make EVs in volume for a decade. And now they come out saying it is going too fast. No, you have been going too slow. But it doesn't really matter anyway. The EV adoption is happening so fast, the law will pretty much be pointless. So you can try to stop the law being put in place, but that will not stop the EV adoption. And before we end off with a bit of fun, I just want to make a new shout out to my newest Patreon. My new long-range Patreon, Jess Dable. Thank you so much for all your support. I am doing this all by myself, but you guys, all the producers of this new show, thank you. And let's end off with a bit of fun. An IQ test for your kid. That is all we have time for in this new show. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button. It really does help this video out a lot. And if you did like it, maybe you want to hit that subscribe button, notification bell, so don't miss out on future videos just like this one. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for your support. And if you want to support the channel even more, remember you can, for as little as $1, become a patron of this channel and get your shout out on this show. You can also become a member of the YouTube channel to get a shout out and some extra perks. Hit the members button to find out more. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter. I tweet all the news as it comes out and more. And check out the merch store to get some merchandise and support the show. Now it's also possible to support the show without buying anything, becoming a member or a patron. There is a link to a donation options in the show notes. And also as simple as hitting the super like button. But going forward, I will be making more videos for patrons and members only. And I will give my YouTube members and patrons early access to my videos whenever possible and make my videos ads free for members and patrons only. So don't miss out. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.